there's not really anything wrong with Steelyard Blues, and the character writing is quite strong with some good performances, but in general, I just found it to be a little dull. This was released in 1973. It's directed by Alan Myerson, written by David S. Ward, and we have a cast including Mel Stewart, Donald Sutherland, Howard Hesseman, Morgan Upton, Peter Boyle. It's because of Peter Boyle that I became aware of this, and I read the description and thought that sounds reasonably interesting. We have a great cast. We also have Jane Fonda, and in general, there were enough aspects drawing me to this film that I decided to give it a go. Well, I say that. I was going to watch it anyway for Peter Boyle, but I was moderately enthusiastic about it. But apart from the characters, I don't really think it was that interesting. It's about a group of individuals, very different characters. Again, the character writing is very, very strong, who all come together to try and restore this PBY flying boat, which is not something I know anything about, so I had to do a little bit of Googling there, and I got an education, so I'm quite happy with that. I learned something, and that's always a good thing. But it's not going to be a straightforward project, and there are obstacles along the way with regarding that, and also their personal lives. And it's not so much that nothing happens, it's not that the narrative is completely empty. I just didn't care for it. There wasn't really anything about it that I personally found to be interesting. As I said, the characters are the strongest aspect, which is not necessarily a criticism. There are a lot of very strong character-driven films, but I just came away from it feeling like it was a pretty average experience. Now, average isn't always that bad, so if you're curious, I'd say give it a go. You might enjoy it more than I did, but I personally just didn't get a lot out of this experience. Quite a bland narrative from my perspective. The story had a lot going on, but also not a lot at the same time. Yes, the characters were well written, the performances were strong, the camera work, music, lighting, all of that, absolutely fine, no problem. So there's nothing wrong with it. There is absolutely nothing about Steelyard Blues that I think is badly done. Maybe it's personal preference, or maybe even if you are interested in the topic, you might find that the narrative is quite dull for the most part, but the characters are well done. So in general, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I wouldn't say I was bored. Do I recommend it? Yes, I guess so. If you're curious, if there's anything about this where you think maybe I'll like that, maybe I like the narrative, maybe I care for the cast, give it a go. It's certainly watchable. I didn't find it to be a brilliant experience, but I don't regret the time I spent watching it. All things considered, for me, Steelyard Blues might not have any specific room for improvement in terms of the story or the characters. Everything is fine. Everything works well. But personally, I just didn't love it very much.